Hi guys, welcome back to the channel. This is Alpha Omega Occasionally. On this occasion you'll find us in Pontutini, in this wonderful place that I'm becoming more and more accustomed to as an alternative to living in Bangkok. And to be honest with you, after 12 years of living in Bangkok, not any alternative, but this alternative seems like a good choice. Anyway, we're talking about choices in this. I was watching YouTube, as you do, as you are. And I came across a couple of videos over the last couple of days. One is a British guy, and one an Irish guy. And by the way, there is a huge difference. Irish people are not British, and we're not part of the United Kingdom. But I have to say that because so many people keep thinking that we are. But anyway, one was a British guy, and one was an Irish guy. The British guy is in Thailand, and he's moving back to his home country of the United Kingdom. And the Irish guy is in Cambodia, and he's not moving back to his home country of the Republic of Ireland. So I'm going to give it to you as I see it, in terms of, well, put it this way, there's reasons why I live here, and there's reasons why you should think longer and harder about coming here and look at your other options. And even if you are living here, if you're single, you may know this already. You may know what I'm going to tell you already, or you may not know. But either way, it could be very, very lucrative for you or for me. But just to kick off this video, I'm going to explain why I don't want to leave Thailand and why it would be totally impractical for me to leave Thailand. You see, I'm coming up from my retirement, and that's about 5 years from now, give or take. And I'm looking at an income from my Irish non-contributory, from my Irish contributory state pension. If I lived in Ireland on my contributory state pension, it would be very tough going. In fact, it's not an income that you could live and support yourself on. It can only be viewed nowadays as a supplementary income. But if you live in Southeast Asia, namely Thailand, Cambodia, Laos, okay, do you want to live in Myanmar? I don't know. But whatever. Nothing wrong with Myanmar, by the way. I've been there. But you could live in any of those aforementioned countries on that same amount of money that would be a supplementary income in Western Europe. It would be your main source. Well, it could be still your main source of income in Western Europe, but if so, you'd be fecked. But your main source of income here, there's fucking dogs. Look at them. You see? You think I'm messing? Look at that. There's a guy who lives next door to me, an Italian guy. He was bitten by one of those two, the black one, last week. And they're coming from me. Dogs are supposed to be territorial and not supposed to go beyond their territory, but in other words, by far from the house they live. And they probably won't. See, anyway, that's the dangers of living here. Anyway, that's besides the point. So, where was I? You could live here quite well on your state pension, your European state pension. But the problem is, there are, according to the Irish guy who made this video from Cambodia, he said that he loves Thailand, but he was tired of the visa bullshit. I keep looking over my shoulder here. Tired of the visa bullshit that he had to put up with in Thailand. It's more and more difficult all the time. But when it comes to Cambodia, he mentioned two visas. Now again, I'm not saying this is a fact. I'm saying this is what he said. And I presume it's factual. Obviously, it is, because he probably did his research. He's there, he knows. There's a tourist visa you can get on entry to Cambodia for $30. And there's a thing called an e-visa. The tourist visa lasts, 30 days, give or take. I don't know. Don't shoot me if I get that wrong. The tourist visa lasts 30 days. But this e-visa lasts a lot longer. I don't know, 90 days or whatever it may be. But you can renew it up to a year and then renew it after that ongoing. And you don't have to prove that you have any amount of money in the bank. Not like here. So there's an option. And you know what? I've said this a million times. Keep looking over my shoulder for dogs. I've said it a million times. If I had my opportunity again, I wouldn't be in Thailand, because it's obviously hindsight's 20/20 vision. It's so bloody difficult. And the English guy the British guy that's going home, he's made a couple of videos about it, and he mentions in terms of income, because it's so bloody goddamn difficult. If you come here and you've got a wad of money in the bank and you've got your pension coming in, as I said, you'll be all right. But if you haven't got that wad of money and your pension coming in, and you're a young man in your 30s or 40s or even 50s, I suppose, you're going to have to sustain yourself. And how are you going to do that in a xenophobic country like Thailand? Are you going to teach English? I can tell you, teaching English, I've done it. Teaching English is a pain in the hole. You can do it for a certain amount of time. But by jingo, you won't be doing it for a career. Maybe some fellas can hack it. I couldn't. It's the most soul-destroying, unproductive pursuit. Both unproductive for you and unproductive for your students, because of the way English is taught here. Now, it's hard for me to. And this isn't about teaching English. You know, it's about your options. So, the guy who's going back to the UK has highlighted income, and not while living from day to day, week to week. I'm not going to say hand to mouth, but you could say that. You can survive, but can you provide for the future? He was talking about families and stuff like that, settling down. But you see, if you're a young man, what will you do? What will you do here? I mean, really, what will you do? There's a guy living just next door to me, and he lives alone. And I don't know how he survives here. This is Pontutini. This is deepest, darkest Thailand. There's absolutely nothing here. Just the birds. And God knows, snakes and all the rest of those things that go with these places at these latitudes. But what are you going to do all day? What the f*** are you going to do all day? And if you live in Pattaya, and I keep saying that because that's the way the Brits say it. I don't say it because I don't like to. I do like it. So it's a love-hate thing. If you go to Pattaya, what are you going to do there all day? Another fella, he's a British guy. He put up a video the other day about the cesspit that place is. And such a horrible environment to be in. I think that your options you have now in 2025, much broader options, as in places to settle down in. But you see, you can and you have the choice to do whatever you want to do. But living here has become so much more difficult for foreigners. Because essentially, you gotta admit this. Thailand is an extremely welcoming place, a beautiful country with beautiful people. But Do they want you to live here full time? Well, more or less they do. As long as you can provide for yourself and provide the spondulocks. The same thing could be said for any East Asian country. But there are other East Asian countries, namely Cambodia, which appear to be at the time of making this video, easier and less red tape and all that kind of stuff. And for the guys leaving, and there are guys leaving, because, put it this way, I was thinking to myself, if I wasn't married, for whatever reason, I woke up tomorrow morning and I wasn't married, for whatever reason, and there could be a multitude of reasons for that. Here's an airplane. There could be a multitude of reasons for that, or a multitude of reasons. But if I wasn't married, would I stay here? My son is Thai. I'm living here in Pontutini more or less 3 days a week now, give or take. I couldn't survive here. This is total Thai culture. It's all Thai. And I'm not, and I've often said it, I'm not a wannabe, and I don't want to be. I'd have to admit it, that if I wasn't married, I would have to sling me hook and take myself away, and not necessarily go back to Europe, but Europe would be the obvious choice, but go to somewhere else in this wonderful world that's more akin to the culture that I'm used to, that I grew up in. Because no matter how long you're here, you'll never fit in. That's a fact. No matter how long you're here, you'll never really get used to the chasm of a difference between the culture you grew up in and this culture. Leaves are falling. They're making some noise there when they fall. So there's a few things for you to consider. Is it worth moving to Thailand in 2025? I don't think so. You can invest your time at, on or in a different venue. And I'm using those different prepositions because you could be at a place, on an island, or in a place. And at the moment, I'm in Thailand. And I'm resigned to the fact that I'm going to be here. Please God. Well, I say that because I don't believe in any of that, but you know yourself, a figure of speech. Please God for the duration. Because I couldn't afford to sustain myself if I went back to Europe now. And I pity anybody who realises now that their Thailand dream is over after 5 years, 6 years, 7 years, 8 years, and they have made a decision to go back to their home country. I hope for their sake they've got a safety net to fall back on. I don't, so that's the last place I want to be. So, I hope this is the first place you want to be. This is Alpha Omega occasionally, bringing it to you straight from the horse's mouth. And I look forward to bringing you another wonderful video very soon. If you enjoyed this, click that like button, the share button, subscribe button. And even if you didn't enjoy it, let me know in the comment section and I'll bring you back another wonderful video very soon. Thanks for joining me.